Friendly neighborhood dad here. I wanted to do a quick episode tonight to talk about a couple of things. There is something going on today, the day that this is being recorded, that I thought was relevant. It was a good time to talk about, and I wanted to bring a little different perspective to it, I guess. And second of all, I said friendly neighborhood dad, but honestly, there's something that's kind of pissing me off. I'm going to be talking about that too. So hide your kids, hide your wife. I might freak out a little bit, but we'll get to that later. I wanted to talk about this economic blackout thing that's going on. So I'm recording this on the night of February 28th. And today was the first of a series of what they're calling economic blackouts. It's basically essentially kind of a mass boycott. You're supposed to not buy anything today or on these future dates as well. Other than if you really have to get something, you can buy it from like your local mom and pop shop. And first things first, just to get it out of the way, I participated. I think it's a good idea. But I wanted to talk about maybe expectations and why it might or may not send the message that we're hoping. The idea is that because the owning class, the kind of oligarchs or the corporate overlords or however you want to call them, have the money, they have the influence, they have the power and quote unquote authority. It's hard to speak at their same level. It's hard to kind of have a seat at the negotiating table with them. So what you have to do is use the one advantage that we do have. There are a lot more of us than there are of them, and there always will be. So we have power in numbers, and when we work together, we basically can do whatever we want if we can actually work together. So this economic blackout is basically a way of saying we are going to use our numbers to project our power economically. We're going to be conscientious spenders. We're going to speak with our wallets. And if we don't like what's going on, we're going to show you by making sure that it hits you where it hurts. Now, the issue with these economic blackouts is it's really more of a statement. It doesn't really have teeth exactly, because at the end of the day, you're either going to be purchasing the things that you need usually just the day before or the day after. I mean, you can't just not get food for your family. You can't just not buy the things that you have to buy. Eventually, you do have to get them. So I'm all for being an ethical spender. I'm all for putting your money where your mouth is, 100%. But I'm a little concerned because this economic blackout thing, it got a lot of press. I mean, people were talking about it nationwide. And I'm not 100% sure that a ton of people really participated. So if you do this economic blackout and it has absolutely no effect whatsoever, I feel like if anything, the oligarchs and the capitalistic overlords are basically just going to be more empowered. They're going to say it doesn't matter how bad it gets. These people are never going to actually inconvenience themselves to send a message. So we really can do whatever we want. So to me, I think the thing that would work a little better is a general strike. A general strike is basically the idea that across the country, every single person decides on a specific day they're not going to work. Now, there are exceptions, firefighters, people who drive ambulances, doctors, nurses, really extremely vital jobs that save lives. You got to save lives. So you're going to go to work. But otherwise, don't go to work. Because that sort of, first of all, does have the effect of an economic blackout. Because obviously, if nobody shows up to man the Walmart, nobody can go buy things at Walmart. But it also means that you're going to hit them even harder in the place that really matters for them, which is worker productivity. I've talked about it in a couple of episodes, but basically, worker productivity has risen by many hundreds of times since a lot of these corporations were founded. And in the meantime, worker pay has not risen that much. CEO bonuses or dividends to shareholders, yeah, they'll go through the roof. But your actual wages, your take home, isn't changing at all. They just expect you to work harder and harder and produce more and more. So the idea is that with this system that they've built, this system that relies on outrageous profit margins so that they can make their bottom line skyrocket, if everybody for one single day stopped their productivity, it would bring it all tumbling down. And they would realize that this mountain of wealth and gold that they've built is built on a very shallow foundation. If you wanted to really hit them where it hurt, I would say a general strike is the way to do it. The only thing you have to keep in mind with a general strike is that it's sort of a prisoner's dilemma, because you have to trust that the people around you are going to participate too. So the very first thing we have to do, if we really want to make change, is we have to build these connections. You have to be able to trust your neighbor. You have to know that they've got your back. And when it comes time to show up, you have to know that they're going to show up for you too. Now, the second issue here is honestly really why I'm making this video, because it's getting under my skin. So look, if you are a troll, if this was your entire point, if this is the way that you live your life, congratulations, okay? You win. You bothered me. I am bothered. But something that has been driving me crazy is the bastardization of patriotism. You have one niche group of people that has claimed the idea of patriotism, of nationalism, of loving their country. This group of people is, typically speaking, on the far right. You're going to see them wearing these goofy red hats, waving these American flags, and pretending like if you don't fall in line, if you don't listen to dear leader, that you don't love this country as much as they do. So I have to address this horrifying rumor that if you disagree with the current administration, you're not patriotic. The thing is, if you love something, if you love someone, you have to be able to criticize. You have to be able to help it grow. You have to be able to point out the flaws, not to tear it down, not to mock or deride, but to build it up, to make it better, to heal the wounds. Instead, what you've got is these people who are more than happy to fall in line. They're more than happy to close their eyes and follow orders. And the way they show their national pride, ironically enough, is frequently by hanging up the flags of a defeated nation in the Confederate flag. I look around and I see these big trucks waving these American flags and having Confederate bumper stickers. And to me, that is ironic in the absolutely worst way. How can you possibly be patriotic and say that you love this country when you are toting around a symbol of the greatest insurrection and tragedy that this country has ever faced? The moment when we were weakest and brother was fighting brother. For some reason you decide that Confederate flag, that symbol is what you want to rally behind. And speaking of rally, don't even get me started on this whole Nazi salute thing that's been going on. And I know, like, people are coming up with all of these excuses, like, well, Elon Musk has autism, and so he doesn't understand social cues. What? Or they're saying that these people, well, they're just trolling now. They saw it really bothered the lefties, and so now they're throwing out these salutes all the time to, you know, collect those liberal tears. Okay, you are disrespecting the memory of the heroes who died fighting against that horrific ideology. You can throw out those Nazi salutes and pretend like it's a joke and pretend like it's these liberal cucks who get bothered by everything, but at the end of the day, you are doing something disrespectful on purpose. You're tainting heroic sacrifices to get a laugh. So I don't know how you can possibly say that this is patriotism to you. We have right now, sitting in the highest office in the land, a convicted felon, proven in a court of law to have committed SA against at least one woman, consistently spitting on the Constitution in ways that are, again, repeatedly held up in court. He appointed a billionaire oligarch to slash federal funding that makes sure that our kids don't go to bed hungry, or make sure that we maintain our position as the most powerful, most respected country in the world. And worse, he is wantonly firing patriots who are giving their life in service to our country, firing people randomly. People that I guarantee you care a lot more about this country than he does. So for you to say that to be a patriot, to love this country, you have to blindly follow that. You have to blindly accept that. And if you question it, then you're some communist that hates this country. I think you seriously have a problem. Okay? I have a problem with you personally. If you are telling me that I don't love this country because I am unwilling to see it go to complete garbage in front of my eyes, because I spend my nights recording videos like this to speak to my small audience about what I deeply care about, which is this country that I love. So if that's you, if you want to wear your red cap and you want to parade around a Confederate flag, and you want to take a big old dump on the Constitution and call that patriotism, that's fine. But really, you can leave me out of it. Because in my book, the people who love this country are the people who are speaking out right now to make sure that this country has a future. So thank you for joining me on this really short episode. I really wanted to get those thoughts out, and I'm always glad to speak with you. So hit me up in the comments if you have any thoughts on this. If you agree or disagree, I would really love to hear from you. If you have any thoughts on how to bridge the divide. Days like today, I feel like I have less in common with my fellow countrymen than ever before. And it's heartbreaking. So let me know what you think. I really look forward to hearing from you, and I'll see you soon.